What's up, everybody? Today's video is all about Lissandra. You guessed it. That's right. Riot today released Lissandra and a bunch of other sweet Freljord cards, and I had to Theorycraft with this deck. I also rated all of these cards on RuneterraCCG.com in an article, talk about their competitive viability and where the cards may end up in the meta. So if you're interested in something like that, the link to the article is in the description below. That article also includes a Theorycrafted deck, which is what I'm going to be going over right now. So this Theorycrafted deck is Lissandra and Trundle. So Lissandra requires 8 cost units to be summoned or played in order for her to level up. So the first thing I thought of was the Ice Pillar, right? It costs 8 mana. It counts as one of those conditions, but also level up Trundle himself, if you have Trundle out, of course. And then obviously, you also get 8 mana back to then be able to possibly play another 8 cost unit in the same turn. So pretty insane for leveling up Lissandra, but in this deck in particular, I went full blown into the Frozen Thrall package. So Lissandra summons a Frozen Thrall, which is the 1 cost landmark that essentially has countdown 8. When it eventually bursts open, a Thrall gets unfrozen, he gets defrosted and comes out as an 8 cost, 8/8 with Overwhelm, which is insane. So not only does Lissandra summon one of those, but also the Draklorn Inquisitor summons one of those, and on top of that, I'm running 3 of them myself. So I am all in on the get Frozen Thralls out onto the board to then get out these giant 8/8s with Overwhelm. So the deck is Lissandra and Trundle. We got landmarks, we have Frozen Thrall, and the new Blighted Revine. This card's very interesting. It's like a delayed avalanche, and it just seems super cool to me, so I wanted to try it out for sure. It might just need to be avalanche in this deck, but it does heal your Nexus for a little bit in the meantime as well, so I wanted to give it a shot, because this is essentially the same archetype of, SI Freljord ramp is where this is at. You can tell that once you start looking at the followers, we have the Sentry, the Veil Archer, the Weirding Stones, and then it gets a little bit weirder down bottom. But just to continue to the spells, we have, of course, Catalyst of Aeons, Grasp of the Undying, Withering Wail, Harsh Winds, Atrocity, Vengeance, Ruination. So you can see that archetype of Freljord and Shadow Isles that is so good, right? It's in the Field of Rush deck, it's in War Mother's deck. It's just a super solid archetype that has a lot of stalling ability, but also a lot of damage output in the late game. The switch up here is I'm not really running Ladros or Anivia or even Field of Rush. The win condition, instead of using those, is really coming from these Thralls or even the Watcher that you will get from Lissandra leveling up. So the funny thing with the Spectral Matron here is that the Watcher can come into your hand. You can play the Spectral Matron on 8 to summon a 1/1 but a free ephemeral version of the Matron or of the Watcher, and his attack is obviously obliterate the opponent's deck, so that's obviously massive. So that's a really funny combo that the deck has to offer. But as you see, we're running 3 Draklorn Inquisitors, so we were really all in on burst open these Frozen Thralls, defrost them fully, and start pumping out 8/8s with Overwhelm. Right, the whole point of Field of Rush is you get your champions out on turn 9 or turn 10. They're 10/10s with Overwhelm. You can then Atrocity the Nexus with one of those after the fact, but they are just beefy units that deal a ton of damage. Well, so are the Thralls. 8/8 with Overwhelm is just as big, and on top of that, they have additional synergy with Trundle. When Trundle attacks, he gets +1 power for each 8 cost unit you behold, or 8 cost card you behold, and the Thralls will count for that as well. So if you have a board full of Thralls and a Trundle, when you attack with Trundle, you get a ton of damage boost there, and Trundle becomes even more massive than he already is. So this deck is all in on the stall out, summon Frozen Thralls, stall out until they become defrosted into the actual Thralls and the 8/8 with Overwhelm. And then once you're at that point, you're just looking to finish the game. The Watcher obviously should be playable. All you have to do is play 4 cards that are, or even just summon 4 cards that cost 8 or more unit-wise. And that's very doable when we're running this much Frozen Thrall and when we're running Trundle as well with, of course, the Pillar. As you see, we're actually only running 1 unit in deck that costs 8 or more. The rest are coming from created cards, which is actually super cool and a really fun style. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy this deck when it does drop. The deck code will, of course, be in the description below. And if you're interested in trying this deck out on March 3rd when Shurima comes to town, you can pop this code right in and you'll be able to play. If you guys haven't checked out RuneterraCCG.com yet, you should do that. Not only are the coloring super sweet for all the regions, but they have all of the deck builder up to date every single day when new cards drop. So if you haven't checked that out, highly suggest you check it out. And until next time, catch you later.